everyone. Welcome to the webinar, Tips for Making the Most of Your AZToolkit subscription. AZToolkit is an online one-stop web platform designed specifically for Arizona's early care and education programs and childcare providers, with more than 1,800 resources and supports for everything from business administration practices, finances and budget, professional development and training, and family engagement resources. If you have an AZToolkit subscription, we encourage you to pull it up while you're watching this webinar. You can log in at azaeyc.org/toolkit, and you'll be able to access and look at the resources we'll share throughout this webinar. We want to take a moment to recognize and acknowledge our partners. This session, as well as AZToolkit Access, is made possible thanks to funding from Arizona Department of Economic Security, the Child Care Administration Department, through federal child care development and block grant funds. And that funding allowed us not only to provide one complimentary annual subscription to AZToolkit for every single DHS licensed childcare provider and DES certified family childcare provider across the state of Arizona from July 1st of 2021 through June 30th of 2022. So we wanted to take just a moment to thank our partners at DES for their support of the AZToolkit project. If you want to learn more about the toolkit, you can check out azyc.org/toolkit. Or if you either have questions about your toolkit account, or maybe you didn't receive the email that we sent out at the beginning of July 2021 with the information about logging into your toolkit account, if you are DHS licensed or DES certified, you can email us at theteam@azaeyctoolkit.org, and we'll provide some additional information. So again, welcome. Linda, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Linda Pauley, and I am the business administrator for the Arizona Association for the Education of Young Children. I'm a huge fan of the toolkit, and I'm really glad to be here tonight to show you around. It's a wonderful resource that I'm sure you will love. I also am the director of a childcare center myself, and use this all the time and have been for a couple of years now. So I hope to share with you all the tips and tricks that I've learned over the last couple of years.
Thank you, Linda. And my name is Eric. I'm the Chief Executive of AZAEYC. We're just so excited to be able to share AZToolkit as a resource with you as childcare providers. So AZYC is my part-time job, and in my full-time day job, I help lead a preschool program at a school district. And so both Linda and I have spent a lot of our time using the toolkit to be able to not only save time on resources and tools that have been vetted at the national level, but also to save our programs money, to be able to provide professional development and training that we know is trusted with our staff, and to also be able to recruit and hire qualified staff through the job bank, which Linda will share with you in a little bit. So we're both excited users of AZToolkit, and we really hope through this session you'll see just the many benefits that your sponsored subscription from DES will help offer to you as a childcare provider, and really some resources, tips, and tricks to save time and save money so you can focus on what matters most, which is, of course, supporting children, families, and educators. So Linda, will you tell us a little bit about what the toolkit is?
Sure. Shall I share my screen now?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
The AZToolkit is a shared resources website designed specifically for the early childhood community. In it, we're going to find essentials to build our business administrative practices. There's also exclusive discounts on childcare supplies, our consumables that we use every day in our classroom, food and kitchen supplies, and other business expenses like payroll, insurance, different things where you can save money. And it's not just for the business. There's actually ways that we can save money personally with the My VIP program that we'll dive into in a little bit. That's not just for directors or the people that have the subscription. We can set those up for our employees as well, which is a nice little perk. So the whole purpose of shared services is to save time and money so that we can focus our intention on improving quality. Before we take a dive into the toolkit itself, I'd like to spend just a minute talking about what shared services is. This graphic shows the progression from the Knowledge Hub, in this case, the AZToolkit, to information sharing, to networking, in order to share best practice or purchase together, to the more intensive sharing of staff for business and pedagogical practices. So the idea is that we could start with something like AZToolkit, which, as we've mentioned, is based on best practice. It's been vetted by attorneys, it's been vetted by HR professionals, it's been vetted by the National Association for the Education of Young Children and other key agencies in the early childhood field. So that's the starting point. But there are a lot of things that we could do together as we move forward in the shared services spectrum, from sharing best practices with our peers, to partnering together with a couple other centers, to maybe have a full-time maintenance person, or maybe a specials teacher like music, or somebody that we wanted to give full-time hours and benefits to, but maybe we don't have the budget for that ourselves. Some states are utilizing shared back office space where you would have maybe your accountants and your bookkeeping type people doing managing the receivables and the expenses for a group of centers. It could be a payroll service that people are buying into. And then it culminates in these shared core values where the leadership all works together as a team and we share staff in many areas. The AZToolkit has a host of national and local cost savings with vendors that we all use every day. There's sample policies, procedures, handbooks, forms, job descriptions. We'll go through many of those tonight. Again, what is phenomenal about this is everything is in an Excel spreadsheet or a Word document, completely customizable. You can change the language, you can add your logos, you can take a little of it, you can take all of it. It's completely up to you. And finally, there's not just federal information regarding the early childhood field, but there's information that is specific to Arizona that's important to all of us. Finally, we're going to be going over some of the other benefits in the toolkit that I'll be showing you tonight: the marketing tools and guides, the plethora of resources for teachers and to use in their classrooms. Parent engagement is a very important part of what we do, especially if we're focused on quality, and there's a lot of resources there as well. And there's also just a lot of links to other agencies, so that, you know, we're not trying to remember where we found this one time, or I looked at this a year ago, where is it? We can just have a one-stop shop all in the AZAEYC toolkit. So if there's no further questions, I think we should start our deep dive into the toolkit itself.
So the first thing that we do is log in. And if you are following along with me, here we are. So we have the horizontal menu that goes along the top of the page: grants and funding, engaging families in the classroom, saving money, and successful program management. And we're going to walk through this tonight together, and I'll show you a little bit about each of these things. This main part of the screen is, this changes out every 2 weeks. And it's usually tied to an email that you'll get if you're a member, and if you want to take a deeper dive into that topic, you're able to do that. The next section of the main page are 8 boxes that are the most hit parts of the site. So these don't really change because this is where we want to go. I can't even tell you how often I use the HR expert because I'm not one. But it's important to know that everything that has been put onto this toolkit has been vetted by legal people, and also they are best practices. So people like NACI and other organizations have also vetted the resources that you're going to find here. Some hot links down here are trending topics. The Arizona Toolkit Job Bank, which could be a webinar in and of itself. It is a wonderful tool that we can recruit teaching staff for our centers. And when you enter a job on this, it posts to multiple boards. So it could be Indeed, it could be a whole bunch of them. So your one-time posting is going to get a lot more visibility, and you don't have to go to every single one, thereby saving you a lot of time.
And then you can also track, the other cool thing about the job bank is you can track resumes and cover letters all here in the toolkit. So you don't have to go to a bunch of different sites to be able to do that. And then you can actually create your own custom workflow where you say, oh, I want this teacher to do the first interview, and then I want to move them to an online assessment. So you can actually customize your own recruitment process through the job bank. And we will actually be providing a webinar in the next few months about the job bank. So keep an eye out for that.
Other hot links here are the limited time savings. So you'll be able to see that, oh, it's 22% off discount school supply right now. Usually it's always 20%. So we use this every single time we buy classroom supplies. And you can also, if you're thinking you'd like to maybe do some upgrades to your playground this summer, Little Tykes has 25% off, which is a great time to do that. And then there's Video Corner for some tips of the trade of different things that you might want to take a deeper dive into and learn more about. The other thing down here that we want to talk about or show you are the shortcuts. So this employee orientation toolkit's amazing. There's a bunch of different things here. The CACFP one, if you use that in your program, is also wonderful. I wanted to really beef up my enrollment agreement this year and found this, and it was almost like too much. I had to pare it down just a little bit to make it work for us. And that's another wonderful thing about the resources that are on the toolkit, because they are all in Word documents or Excel spreadsheets so that you can customize anything you want and drop your logo in and really make it your own. If you want this line, but not that line, it's no problem. Cell phone policy seems to be a huge problem for a lot of us, especially with our younger staff. And we have not only a cell phone policy, but we could have an entire employee manual. So I'll show you that in a little bit as well too. You could download the whole thing or just one policy at a time as you find that you need them. The checklists are also very, very helpful. Just to make sure that we are running our program as smoothly as possible. And just to recap this, the reference sheets are also very helpful. So if you are a center or a family child care program, you can click on these reference sheets and it will show you every single resource roughly that is in here and where you would find it. So if I want to learn about cultural responsiveness, I know that I can go to Engaging Families and find that. Because I think you might be as interested in saving money as I am, we'll go into that section next.
Linda, can I point out one other thing that I really love about the toolkit? There's a lot that I love, but can you hover over that select language there at the top? On the right-hand side under Welcome, Linda.
Yes.
So one of the really cool things about the toolkit is that it was built with Google Translate embedded in it. So for, especially for resources specific to families who speak a different language, you can go to a resource page. Every single page in the toolkit has this translate feature, and you can change it to Spanish or other languages that families might speak, and then you would be able to share information that, with families or with staff who might speak that language. I found that particularly helpful in the Engaging Families tab, because some of the resources are you're able to translate into a different language, and then you could copy and download that as you see fit. So I just wanted to point it out. That's a great embedded resource in the toolkit.
Yep, thanks, Eric. Okay, so let's go to saving money. As I mentioned, that where we see the most of our savings is in our consumables, so our child products and supplies. Their food and food service supplies is also really good. And I'd like to show you a little bit more about that. It's especially wonderful if you are in CACFP. And then there's some savings here for things that it takes to operate our business and save some money on office supplies as well. So the first thing that you'd want to do is to click on Get Started, and that will log you into your savings for members to find out what savings are available this month for you. The limited time savings are just like it sounds. This is a short time deal, limited time that you want to take a look at and take advantage of as you can. All savings programs, I can just take you right to my portal so you can kind of see what that looks like. And these are all of the different things that we could take advantage of today. The food and supply source right here is where if you were part of CACFP and you wanted to participate in that, you could sign up for that, and they will ask you for an invoice of what your current, like your latest receipt from wherever you purchase, and they will compare their costs. They'll build you a spreadsheet and compare your costs with their costs and make recommendations for you. If you are in CACFP, they can provide menu ideas and all of the nutritional values that go along with those menus so that you have them all at your fingertips when, which is a requirement for CACFP. As I mentioned earlier, here's the Little Tykes commercial, which is new. So where we could save 20 to 25% on playground equipment. So if you're wanting to upgrade, this is a great time to do that. Certain things like the discount school supply, as I mentioned, this 20% discount has been there since since I first became a member of the toolkit. We saw for limited time only, it's at 22%, but it's almost always at 20%. Kaplan is also in there, as is Lakeshore, for some extra savings there too. So these are things that we use regularly, that we all use regularly. You'll find some of these come and go over time as they enter into agreements with CCA for Social Good, which is who runs this platform. So to give you an idea, they are the ones who have put this together. AZToolkit has customized it for Arizona. When we brought this to the state, I think we were the 28th state in the country that had it. So they do all of the heavy lifting for us on negotiating these deals. The other ways to save is with teacher discounts and employee perks through My VIP. And I don't know if any of you are old enough to remember those old entertainment books that we used to get for fundraisers, and you spend $20 and there's, it's about a 3-inch book and it has all kinds of coupons in it. But when you're in this My VIP, it is the same type of thing, except it's all electronic. So that makes it even more convenient. So I could log into my account and see everything that's there that I could save money on as well. The other thing that is really nice about this is we can give this to our employees. So this is something where you can sign your employees up and they can also get a little perk for working. So this is a great way to add to a great thing to add to your compensation and benefits package, and it costs you nothing. Also, there's some teacher discounts here, which is basically just helping you make sure that your staff all has ID cards, because if you're a small operation, you might not have it. And then you can review retailers that offer teacher discounts, and there are more out there than you would think. So I know my teachers really appreciate getting their ID card every year and to be able to shop around at Target and Walmart and Michael's and different places that teachers like to get things for their classroom and receive 10% off. You can even just Google teacher discounts and it will show you things in stores in your area that offer that.
Linda, can I mention something about the My VIP perks?
Sure.
What I like about the employee perks there on the left-hand side, so when you're an AZToolkit subscriber, all of these things are available to you as a subscriber. As Linda mentioned, you can share the My VIP information with your staff as a compensation benefit. And it's not only like materials they would use for the classroom, but it's also savings on, I can't even count, hundreds of organizations and stores like grocery stores, Target, flower shops, restaurants, food places. It's really just sort of a plethora of things that people could use just in their own daily lives beyond just the, what they would need as a teacher. Oh, thank you. So I don't know if you could walk us through maybe just a couple of the examples of the stores, but
Sure.
I think it's a great benefit for employees because it's really things that they could save on just as a professional themselves outside of their work as a teacher. So you can see Walmart, but there's also other grocery stores and clothing stores and just lots of other wonderful savings exclusively through this My VIP section.
Yeah, we could scroll down this for a really long time. There's a lot of different choices there for people to shop online with. So they have hot deals that are just sort of here for a short time. You can find promo codes to shop at your favorite stores, various coupons, and there's a cashback feature you can see here as well for people that are participating in this program. So that cashback part is a little bit, that's even better than the old entertainment books used to be, because that was just a coupon and you got, some money off. So this is a really fun little thing for your staff. Do we have any questions about saving money in the group? Eric, are you watching the chat box?
I got it. Yeah, no chats yet.
Okay. All right, no problem. So let's get into our various headings across the top. Boy, are there a lot of grants out there for us right now. It's a great time to be in childcare, except for all the stress that we're under all the time. But this page will help you find various grants that you might be eligible for that are in our area, just in Arizona. I'm just going to scroll slowly so you can see for child care workers, the rent and utility assistance, unemployment insurance. We have a lot of people using the essential worker child care relief program with DES. This keeps changing every couple months. We get it goes out longer and longer. But this is really a great tab to know what is happening in and around Arizona as far as grants and funding goes.
Yes, and we actually added this specifically for Arizona. So what we do as grants become available is our team updates this with both statewide opportunities for childcare providers, as well as regional and local. So check back often. Right now, the biggest grant is the Department of Economic Security's Child Care Stabilization Grant, which providers can receive up to $10,000 a month through July 2023 if they apply by August 15th of 2021. And then there's rolling opportunities to become enrolled if a program doesn't enroll by that date. But that's the big one right now. It's also available in Spanish, as you can see. And then our team will add additional like community-based grants or business-related grants or childcare, early childhood related grants, really anything that a childcare provider could use to receive either state or federal funds related to operating childcare. So please keep your eyes, peeled in that section and keep looking for those regional updates as they become available.
Thanks, Eric. Moving on to engaging families. We all know that these relationships that we have with families are super important to the children that we serve, and it's, we want to keep our families happy as well. So under engaging families, these are all the subheadings. So there's administrative tools. We can engage families with information about child development, help them understand the new child tax credit rules that are in place. We can help them with education, and this is about integrating technology. We can talk about environment, and I think this is more than just natural resources. It's about the environment in the home, and classroom environments are in a different section. General health, social and emotional safety, nutrition and fitness can all be found in this section. If we want to take a little bit deeper dive, let's check out the administrative tools. So here you can find resources about a community bulletin board. Maybe you want to create a welcoming environment for families. You want to be culturally responsive. Let's talk about enrollment and some different resources that we might need for that. So this is a phenomenal enrollment agreement, and then a getting to know you questionnaire that will help your teachers know their children that are coming into their classroom, give them a heads up about that. This is the family handbook that I was talking to you about, an employee handbook, but the same thing is true with families. So you could start with a center-based family handbook if you needed a new one, but maybe you like the one that you have and you just realize that there's an individual policy that you're lacking. And from here, you can download any one of these or 10 of them and copy and paste them right into your current handbook. So this is a really wonderful way to make sure that maybe you've had the same handbook for a number of years and you just want to update it and make sure you have it the best that it can be. There's surveys in here. There's resources for family teacher conferences, which are also very helpful, how we can plan them, an invitation, a lot of templates in here for putting the invitation out, a guide to how to do them with broken down by age group. And then we also want to make sure that we have documentation for the conference that we can keep in the child's portfolio and refer back to at a later point in time when we meet with families. There's help here with IEPs. There's help with newsletters, various technology resources, and all of these things are all about engaging families. And that's only under administrative tools. We remember that there were all of these other choices too we could be engaging families with. This child tax credit, I think, is really important too, because this is what's going to help families pay for childcare. And we all know how expensive that is, but they just got their first check just a week or two ago. So is a nice surprise for a lot of people. Maybe they've heard about it, but they didn't really understand, and then they saw it in their bank account. So this can help them understand how it works. Moving on to resources that are in the classroom. Again, we have our main heading of in the classroom, and then there's more resources that break down. So we might want to learn more about assessing children. We might want to talk about curriculum. We might be wanting to learn more about the Eckers and the Itters environment rating scales. Maybe there's things that we need to learn or do some training on with executive function. Literacy has great resources for books and different ways that we can build emergent literacy into our classrooms, the various physical activities. So we have some gross motor play, and our teacher resources as well, along with this darn coronavirus, but this has been a very huge help for me in this last year as well. We've already talked about saving money, so now I really want to go into what I spend a lot of time on, and that is successful program management. I don't know if you've been getting my email since you're new to the toolkit, but I want to say it was May, June timeframe that we did an entire series on a marketing toolkit, and this was so in-depth and so helpful to dive into. With the marketing toolkit, it takes you through all of these different steps, and there's resources for each of these to know your business, know your market and your competitors, define your goals and your budget, define your messaging and the marketing channels, and then track the effectiveness of your marketing plan. I don't need to click through all of these in the interest of time, but each one of these will have not only the guide that you're going to walk through, but various resources for you to work through the process. And, you know, this was at a much higher level than I ever could have gotten to on my own. And it was really an amazing process. But if you didn't want to take the deep dive just now, you might need to just learn a little bit more about email marketing. You might want to talk about family tours or your best practices for your phones. All of these types of things help as well. And there are resources and references in marketing your program too that you want to check out. As I mentioned earlier, becoming an HR expert is something that we all need to be concerned about, that we are doing things well. There's some salary under compensation. You can look at a salary scale, a sample of one, and then a template. We want to make sure that we're paying a worthy wage, but that we can also afford to do that. You can look at various benefit plans. And this is really interesting too, because not all of these benefits cost money. And there are some very nice things under staff wellness that, like this dental insurance and the docs by phone, and this is really amazing. If you don't offer benefits to your team right now, you should really check this out, because it gives them telemedicine for a very, very modest price of $8 per month per employee. So this is really worth checking out. We want to make sure that we keep our employees happy, because turnover is expensive and it's bad for kids when they lose their teacher that they have a strong relationship with. The job bank we looked at a little bit earlier. We want to be very, very careful on discipline and termination with employees. We want to make sure that we're doing everything by the law, that we don't mess up. And Arizona is a right to work state, but that doesn't mean that there's not some guidelines that we should be following. So checking out what's available here is important as well. The employee handbook looks a lot like the family handbook. You can either download the whole thing or just various bits and pieces of it that can help you build something that is completely customized to your center. The orientation toolkit is another very helpful thing to make sure that you not only do the orientation that our licensing requires of us, but it also helps us onboard new people so that they are comfortable in our center and understand the high quality that we're expecting of them. There is also a lot on recruiting. So interview guides, they have some questions that we can ask. I find sometimes if I'm not using an interview guide, I might just chat with a person. And then when you're trying to compare multiple candidates, it's a little hard to do that. It's more of a popularity contest, like who did I have the best conversation with? Where if you use an interview guide and you're asking everybody the same questions, you can kind of create your own rubric and really rate them on objective answers to the questions. The job ads and the job descriptions are very helpful as well. Inside of the toolkit job bank, they have some samples in there already. I will say they might be a little bit intimidating, so you want to make sure that it sounds like a good place to work and a fun place to work too. So kind of checking this stuff out before you get in here. You can customize these jobs in the job bank as well. But just kind of pay attention to that and know that you have other resources to choose from. The performance appraisals are very good as well, but let's look at the HR forms, policies, and templates. There are so many. And what I really like about this too is it's not just for our staff, because sometimes our boards don't really understand their role either. And there's some resources here to help us help our boards. So this is important. The business part of things, they'll find others of these in another area that might have more to do with long-range business planning.
So you can see that it's also broken out by classroom and by family, by financial, by health, by HR, and by safety. Then we can move into policies. So if you have some form of policy-based governance that you might, as a director, have complete autonomy as long as you're operating within a policy, you might want to make sure that your policies are as strong as they can be. And these are some really great resources, again, broken down by the same headings as the forms are. So let's go back to successful program management. Here are your business and your strategic plans. So we might be able to make it through the next 6 months, but maybe we want to plan for a year, or we want to plan for 5 years. This section is where we would go for that. There's also some great deals on liability and D&O insurance that you can find in here. A lot of really great COVID resources too that I spent too much time in the past 18 months. And financial management as well. So if you have an accountant, or you have a group in your school district that does this for you, that's great. If you are trying to figure it out on your own, you might want to take a closer look into financial management. This is really where shared services can become an amazing thing for us in Arizona. The toolkit is basically the first stop. It's a shared information hub. But the more that we would move into a shared services model, we could really be talking about how centers might band together and save money on various areas of running their business. For example, you might have an accountant that you all share, or you might have a music teacher that wants full-time and benefits, and you can't afford that on your own, so you partner with a few other schools. A lot of this planning and management comes from, I believe it's called Opportunities Exchange. And Louise Stoney is one of the most brilliant people in the country when talking about shared services in the early childhood sector. And she refers to these principles of the iron triangle about collecting fees in full and on time, and to make sure that your rates cover the cost per child, and to see that you are into full enrollment. So these are all really things that you might want to take a deeper dive into when you have an opportunity. There's tools for budgeting, and there's tools to make sure that you have your best practices in place for financial reporting as well.
What Linda shared are just a few of the more than 1,800 resources that are available in AZToolkit. The intent is to provide equitable access to resources and tools to help programs be the best and most meaningful programs for children and families that they can be. As you have heard, in our jobs running childcare programs, and some of the most important things are those forms and templates that you can download right at your fingertips to really help run the center effectively and smoothly, to free up that time to be able to spend on professional development for staff, or spending time getting to know the families and the children, and really providing the most meaningful quality services that we can for our communities. The other thing that we found important about the toolkit is that we don't have to go searching for things in multiple sites. We don't have to do Google searches and hope that the resource is, reputable or vetted. All of it's done for you right there in AZToolkit. So please, we encourage you to take advantage of these resources. So if you are a program that's licensed by the Department of Health Services or contracted with DES, or your family child care provider, you would have received an email in early July about welcoming you to the toolkit and providing some login information. If you did not receive that, you can contact us at the team at AZAEYCtoolkit.org, and we'll share that email address in just a moment. And then we'll check our list and make sure we add you. So please, if you haven't received your one complimentary subscription for your program, please reach out to us so we can get you situated. You're also welcome to purchase additional subscriptions if you have multiple people on your team who deal with all of the parts that you saw in the toolkit: professional development, marketing, finances, administration. If you have other people on your team that you want to also have access to these resources, you can add an additional subscription on top of your one complimentary subscription that we're providing. They're as low as $7.50 a month or $75 a year for any EYC members, and non-members is $15 a month or $150 a year. You can learn more at azaeyc.org/toolkit. And we've had providers who might use their Quality First incentives to purchase, a toolkit subscription. They might work with their Quality First coach if they're participating in Quality First, to see if there might be some funds to purchase that. They might have a parent or a board member sponsor a membership. Linda, I think you have mentioned you save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on everything from supplies to food to payroll processing. So you make back the money, that actually costs for an account.
Many times over, many times over.
We also encourage you to become part of our larger movement. AZAYC has really been a state partner in collaboration with many of our state agencies and other early childhood champions to really move us from where we were 10 years ago, which is many childcare programs were sort of on their own and there was minimal state or federal investments, to where we are now today with nearly $1.3 billion in the most recent plan that was passed by Congress. Nearly $1.3 billion is being invested specifically for childcare in Arizona from our federal taxpayer dollars. That's due in part from us at AZYC, as well as our colleagues and people like you, childcare providers and directors, who made their voices heard and said, we need investments in childcare. AZYC is a nonprofit early childhood membership organization and an affiliate of the National Association for the Education of Young Children. Wherever you're at in your professional experience, whether you're an early childhood educator, a family, or a champion, someone who supports young children and families in the community, we have focused specifically on digital resources and other discounts. We have a standard level membership, which includes a variety of both digital and publications. And we have a premium level membership that includes a variety of periodicals, in hard copy publications, access to online learning, and special exclusive events. We also offer membership specifically for families, parents, or other early childhood advocates, maybe people outside of the field, and that specifically focuses on the importance of early care and education and provides resources to engage parents, families, and those who want to advocate on behalf of young children and families. To learn more, you can visit azaeyc.org/join. We encourage you to take a few moments to complete a brief 5-minute survey. Once you've completed the survey, there will be a link to a professional development certificate of 1 hour on the survey completion page. In order to complete the survey, you'll visit bit.ly/AZToolkit0729. That's bit.ly/AZToolkit0729. If you'd like us to mark you as attended in the Arizona Early Childhood Workforce Registry, please include your registry ID number, and we'll mark you within 10 business days from receiving your survey. Thank you so much for participating in the AZ Toolkit webinar. Reach out to us if you have any other questions or if we can support you, and take good care.